Ever wondered why some people can draw well and other people just seem to struggle? Do you ever really want to know what's really happening in the minds of artists? Well, you've probably all heard that it has something to do with the way we see things. But that's not the whole story. You see, our eyes bring in information, but it's what happens in the brain that really matters. Our eyes really don't see anything at all. It's our brains that do all the heavy lifting. In fact, if you close your eyes for a minute, you'll probably feel a restful feeling. That's not because your eyes are resting, it's because your brain is resting from all the information that your eyes are bringing in. You see, when most of us look at a tree, that information goes to our brain. And then something happens in our brains to produce something that looks like this. This is not how we see a tree, actually. So what we need to do is fix our brains. We need to train our brains to see the way we actually process information in our eyes, so that when we see a tree and draw a tree, we get something that looks like this, not like that. So we need to be able to process the abstract textures, lines, forms, and values that we actually see on objects. Take a look at this drawing of the tree up close. Do you see all the abstract textures and values and shapes that happen? This is the way our eyes actually see things. So in order to understand what our eyes are actually seeing, we have to look at objects. In fact, we need to look at objects at least half the time. Drawing is at least 50% observation. Drawing is actually a process of transferring information. Information that comes into our eyes, then goes to our brains, then goes to our hands and manifests itself on the paper in the form of a drawing. I like to think of this as a drawing cycle. And drawing is a skill. And a skill can be learned by anyone. Yes, this includes you. So how do we get better at drawing when we understand this drawing cycle? Well, it's all about practice and more practice and more practice and more practice. The more you practice, the better you'll get at this skill, this drawing cycle that happens in your brain. The more you draw, the more you'll be able to train your brain to see. So what are you waiting for? Start practicing drawing now. Draw anything and everything you can and start training your brain to see.